people, it's your best man back again with another Manchester United podcast. It's been a while. I've had so many technical issues. It's unreal. It was just happening before the start of the show. So if I lag out, the guys know what they're doing anyways without me. So it should be fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But listen, we're going to be talking Manchester United in general. We have, of course, got Kish here, which is perfect sense because we are playing Tottenham Hotspur. First and foremost, let me introduce the man representing Manchester United from 3 in midfield. Listen, also feature on Don Robbie channel. You get me. Let's go. Kojo, how are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's nice to come and chat with my boys again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So it's a good link up. What are you man saying?
Yes. I'm good. Kish, how are you doing, my brother? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you know what it is? Every time I listen to that trailer of Osman Talks, I get chills. I'm not gonna lie, especially that Martial, because you just subconsciously hear the commentary behind that goal. Do you know what I mean?
Good times, man.
But yeah, no, I'm very, very good. I'm very, very good. I'm looking forward to the show because like Kojo mentioned, it has been a very, very long time considering that you were literally posting daily content at one point.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I literally have been posting daily content apart from this period, but it is what it is. Hopefully, like I said, without the technical issues, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with the watch along. Monday, back to the Ralph Fan podcast and things will resume as normal. If you are new, make sure you do slap a like and of course subscribe to thy channel. Myself, Kojo's Kitchen Social are down below. Follow us on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, etc. We've got Shahid in the building saying, evening, gents. Shahid, hopefully you do well, my brother. Hopefully you're good. But listen, we're going to get straight into it. There's a lot to discuss. I have got my colours up like Cantona. I don't know why I'm brave. We just got slapped 4-1 against City. But it is what it is. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? We're absolutely dead. We're not even going to mention that because, I'm just complaining it never happened. Listen, Kojo, let's talk about some other news. Let's talk about the biggest talking point. Obviously, Kish, I want to hear your thoughts as well. Marcus Rashford, a lot of speculation, getting straight in there. A lot of speculation regarding Rashford's future at the moment. There's been the last couple of days in particular, Fabrizio Romano has even come out and said that there are murmurs that Rashford is unhappy at Manchester United, in particular with his lack of minutes. What do you make of the situation?
I mean, firstly, he's. Oh wait, was it me? Or was it?
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I think so. Firstly, if we're just adjusting these minutes, the reason why he's not been starting games is because he's not been good enough. I think that's everyone understands that. Everyone knows that. I think he should know that himself. I think the big shock for him probably was straight after being told that he was going to be on the bench for the City game instead of Elanga. I think that rattled him to his core, and that's not me saying that Rashford has a huge ego. What that is me saying, considering his history in the game, considering how new and young Elanga is to the team, or the first team anyway, I think Rashford was expecting that he'd hear his name being mentioned, especially with Ronaldo out as well. So I think he was, thinking, yep, I should start this game. Shouldn't be a worry, and I'm going to try and give it my best shot. And it hit him differently. Now, If he does want to leave, I'm not the kind of person that says hold him against his will and get him gone. The same thing with Pogba. I love Pogba to stay, but if Pogba's unhappy, he's gonna have to kick at some point. That's just the be-all and end-all of that. He's not gonna be happy at Old Trafford. It's what it is. I told you it was meant for me. I compared it to the Martial situation. You have two guys who, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when as soon as he came in, Lukaku was on the bench. These two were part of the starting three up top, alongside names that we not mention. And he and Martial were just sort of like getting a chance to run the show. They had a great season together when they both got about 20 goals each overall or so in the season. And then the next year, sort of Martial, sort of fell off a cliff in terms of his goal contributions. Rashford, half body, but still getting goals, but his performance levels weren't good either. I think not that they expected every time to start games, but I think they expected the majority. And in recent time, Martial being sent to Sevilla to get first team football and Rashford just starting on the bench a lot more, I think it's just rattled them both to their core. And I think that's why they're both unhappy, and that's why one's gone and one maybe. I mean, he's got a lot more attachment to Man United on a personal level than Martial does. So who knows what it will take before he says, I want to go. But I don't see him going anywhere, but I think he just needs to really look at himself and say, all right, my level of performance has not been good. I need to level up fast because it's not about not giving you time. But Man United, no matter how good or very, very poor Man United have been in recent years, the pressure still remains the same. You either step up or you step aside. So you need to step up fast before the new manager comes in, whoever that is, and looks at him and says, well, you ain't performed for about a year now or a year and a half. You're not part of my plans.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said in terms of like, you know, the fact that he didn't play against Man City. To be honest, that surprised me as well. I would have personally started him. I was massively shocked that Bruno Fernandes was put in the false nine. So I can understand why that personally would, you know, somewhat frustrate him. You know, like you mentioned, everybody else is unavailable. Post Cavani is never available anyways, but, you know, he still counts as a player. For me, I'm not going to lie, like, I think it's absolutely pathetic, to be quite frankly honest with you. The manner in which Rashford's dealt with the situation, I suppose you could throw Martial in here to an extent, but I'm going to focus on Rashford for the time being. I just think it further emphasises the lack of mentality within the club. At the end of the day, Marcus Rashford, right? Last 2 seasons, as you mentioned, last season's performances weren't good, but he was putting on numbers. Season before, he was absolutely fantastic alongside Martial. This season, a bit of difficulty in terms of his form. Probably his first real bad patch as a Manchester United player. And he's just shown his true colours, which is a player that's got a weak mentality. At the end of the day, you've got a 19-year-old lad in front of you showing more application, more desire, and more hunger when he's on the pitch. Is that 19-year-old lad pulling up trees? Absolutely not. He's just doing the bare basics, but he's doing the fundamentals, you know, the things that you expect from a player coming on the pitch, you know, showing a bit of energy, getting about the pitch, you know, just trying to make things happen. Whether he's got the quality or not is a completely different conversation. Rashford, on the other hand, he's come on the pitch countless times, and, you know, I've defended him many a times in the last couple of weeks. Shown absolutely no desire, no heart, no application to change the game. Body language looks like he doesn't want to be there. He's got no confidence, whatever it may be. But his comments to come out and have the absolute audacity to say, I'm not playing minutes, I might leave. I mean, this is the first time in your career that you've not played minutes at Manchester United. Even this season, Oli played this guy when he shouldn't be playing week in, week out, alongside Bruno, both dropping 1 out of 10s, week in, week out, alongside Maguire, McFred, and the rest of the favourites FC, and they won't get dropped. The one time he gets dropped, and it's on merit, he's trying to leave. Again, we don't know if this speculation is true. I trust Fabrizio Romano as a credible journalist, so I do take his word as somewhat gospel to an extent. But regardless of the fact that whether it's factual or not, the fact that there's even murmurs regarding Rashford being unrest. I mean, like I said, it's the first time you've not had any consistent minutes within the team, and it's justified because your form has been terrible. Coming back to the mentality thing, Cristiano Ronaldo's 37, Cavani's 35. Marcus Rashford's been here for quite a few years now. You're meant to be the big man. You're meant to be the guy stepping up and saying, this is my spot. You've got a 19-year-old lad coming through, taking his spot, and the other guy's taking his spot is 37. So what's the problem here? Because for me, it's Rashford's the issue. His mentality stinks. Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo, at 24 years old, lets a 37, I know Raul wasn't 37 when Ronaldo was about, but hypothetically speaking,
Yeah, no, I do agree with what Osman's saying, to be honest. And listen, both what you, Kojo, and what Osman have said, I agree with, because the only thing I would add to what Osman was saying, as I was saying, Osman, I was pretty much agreeing.
Go on, Kane, sorry.
But if it is true, at the moment, I'm not sure, because if you're a reporter, if you're a sporting reporter at the moment, you know that United is hot, you know, for you to make money, because it's going to get views, it's going to get reads, because it seems to me every other day at the moment there's a new thing about. There was an argument in the training session. Ronaldo had an argument in the changing rooms. Maguire did this. Then Bruno Fernandes says he doesn't want Maguire to play. Rashford doesn't want to do this. Lingard doesn't want to do that. It just seems to me that every other day there's just a random story about United. So, and although I believe that, you know, Fabrizio is a reliable journalist, I'm not fully going to believe it. But if it does come out and it is true, then you guys are completely right. He's getting outdone by a 19-year-old Elanga who hasn't pulled up any trees. He's just done the bare basics, like you said. He's shown aggression when he's come on. He's shown passion. He's actually run and actually you can see he's worked for the cause. So that tells me that with Rashford, there's obviously something wrong. I mean, you've seen it even in the games that Rashford has come on and played. You can see that he's not 100% at it. You can see he's not chasing the ball. You can see that when the positions are there inside the 10-yard, 12-yard box, for him to get in there and be the last man to have that clinical, value about himself, he's just not pushing. He's just not doing it. I mean, the one game I go back to is the FA Cup against Middlesbrough when he was literally he was on it and he didn't even bother running to it. It's like, are you fighting for the cause truthfully? So if it is the case that it is the truth and this is what's happening, then I'm sorry, he has nowhere to run or hide, and he has to fully put himself accountable because if you're gonna hound all the other players just because Marcus Rashford has done a lot for the community, this is football at the end of the day. You are judged based on your football and your footballing performances, and he needs to look himself in the mirror and say, look, I have stagnated, I have not improved, and there's players younger than me and players that were in the academy no longer than just a few months ago that deserve their place ahead of me. And why is that the case? Because it can't be based on ability, because based on ability, Marcus Rashford should be starting at Manchester United, not being on the bench and not being in the reserves. He should be starting. So he needs to look at himself and say, what is going wrong and what am I doing and what can be done from my side to improve upon this? And he must not be showing it in training, because surely Ranić must be playing players based on training, because I'm sure Elanga must be putting his full shift in to be getting Ranić's attention to start or be in the squad. So what is Marcus Rashford not doing? And I don't think I think it's worrying times because he really needs to act up ASAP.
I'm taking the Martial approach I took with. So the approach I took with Martial is what I'm doing with Rashford because it is his first real bad patch of form. I'm trying to not give leeway, but just have like a little bit of patience about it. Because like with Martial, his situation was different, but obviously he came a young lad from France, so coming to Manchester was alien for him. So the first couple of years were kind of like not a write-off. You want to see some development, but eventually when you're settled, you want to see some level of improvement. And, apart from that year, and I think I'll say about 3 or 4 months of the Mourinho season before Sanchez was brought into the team, obviously, he had very much up and down form. So with Rashford, because it's his first real year, it's not that I'm trying to, take his side or anything, because there could be many reasons. He could be just acting up. We're sitting here saying that, he needs to level up. I've said that he needs to level up, step up or step aside. He could be doing that. It could be exhaustion. The guy was injured half his body throughout the whole year last season, played in the Euros or played kind of in the Euros anyway, then got surgery and immediately came back into the first team. Like, I'm just trying to sort of see all avenues. But the thing for me is this. I always give 2-3 years. Same as I give a manager for building your team. 2-3 years might seem a long time to a lot of people, but for me in football, it's very, very short because seasons come and go very, very quickly. And if at 24 years old, we're looking at you in the next 3 years at 27 to be reaching the so-called peak years, which are supposed to be your best years and the years where I want to be seeing top performances. From now till then, when you're supposed to be reaching your peak, I want to see an elevation. I want to see what you guys are talking about, more effort, work rate. These are the basics I'm asking for. Effort, work rate, simple game. Simple game. Like someone like McTominay, we berate him all the time, but he said in an interview of I think it was after the City game, a lot of our players are just trying things that don't need to be tried or doing things that don't need to be done or not applying themselves. Rashford's one of those people. He doesn't apply himself a lot right now. So if it's exhaustion, tell the manager I need a break. If you're not fit, don't play. And if it's just you not performing, then level up, because I don't want to be sitting here saying that Marcus Rashford should be leaving. I didn't want to say Martial should be leaving, but at some point I was unconvinced. It's going to be the same for him if he was to level up quickly.
Yeah, but like you obviously what you said in terms of, you know, giving him a bit of patience is something that I've been preaching for the last couple of weeks, and I've been getting absolute battered on Twitter because not many people, it's not the popular opinion at the moment to defend Rashford. I mean, a lot of people were saying the same about Martial last season and praising Rashford. Now it's the opposite. People are praising Martial and now criticizing Rashford. So it's literally 180 from last season to this season. But the thing is with Rashford, right, it's not even the ability thing, because obviously that's a completely different conversation. But for me, it was his comments. I'm not happy with his comments. I don't think he has a leg to stand on, really. Like, obviously, Kish said with what Elanga's done in training, and Ralph has actually said it himself in many press conferences, that Elanga's impressed me a lot. And for me personally, it's a bit disappointing, because when Rashford first burst onto the scene, he was Elanga in the sense that he was hungry to achieve, he was hungry to make an impact, and he was hungry to make a difference in a game. And people may say it's a lack of confidence for Rashford. His head's gone. You know, his body language suggests that he's low on confidence, which is fair enough. But you still got to do the basics. You still got to be able to do the bare minimum. If you go back to the highlights and the analysis for our game against Man City, their fourth goal, I believe, it might be the fourth or third goal, Rashford's just been subbed on alongside Jesse Lingard, and they're both walking. I mean, I think it's the fourth goal. Rashford literally doesn't move from the halfway line when Bernardo first receives the ball, and Bernardo ends up playing the pass to Mahrez in the box and scores. But, like, just little things like that, not even tracking back. Okay, people say it might be a tactical thing. They might have told him to stay up. But when you're 3-1 down in that scenario, bro, just do the bare minimum, put in a shift, do your work defensively. And that's the reason he's not playing. And for me, I was extremely disappointed that he's come out and said those comments. Almost like he's entitled to play. At the end of the day, no one should be entitled to play for Manchester United or for any club. You've got to earn your spot in the team. And he's not done any of that. If anything, him and Martial are both become extremely complacent. And any time there's a bit of competition for their spots, you notice that they either go in the shell or they start throwing the toys at the pram. It's not a coincidence. And this comes back to my initial point, which is what I was saying about mentality. Everyone's saying Ronaldo's the problem. I think the problem is Martial and Rashford. Because for me, they've shown to me that their mentality absolutely is not at their elite level. Look at Modric, right? Let's go back to, obviously, Modric and the way they won the other day against Paris Saint-Germain. Bro, it was at the 85th minute. Modric there busting a gut, doing like the bare, like not the basics, but the guy's bursting and he's getting past Messi, etc. He's making a difference. He wants that win badly. He wanted that. He would have died on that pitch to win that game. And you've seen the video. I'm sure you've seen the video. It's gone viral of him walking through the tunnel. Bro, the guy's won everything in the game. You don't need to have that hunger. These guys don't have that hunger, Kojo. These Man United players do not have that hunger. And Rashford and Martial, to me, are showing me that they haven't got it, basically, up here, regardless of what they got in their feet.
For me, and I think I've said this to you, Kish, I don't know if I've said it to you yet, and I think you can relate. It's not just a Tottenham thing, it's not a Man United thing only. It's a lot of players these days. A lot of players lack initiative. They lack, you know. I always come back to this old quote. It's like me being a broken drum or whatever. But was it Lee Dixon? Lee Dixon for Arsenal. Arsene Wenger at that time when Arsenal was starting to get into the groove, Vieira, all these guys, right? Wenger shouting stuff on the pitch, and Vieira's looking at the players and saying, "Hey, don't listen to what this guy's saying. You don't listen. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. Initiative. Take control of your own situation, because if you go and do something well and you contribute, the manager's gonna take note of that." Elanga started the game, or the formation anyway, supposed to be maybe like a number 9 or a winger. The guy was doing as much defensive work as Wan-Bissaka. So he's putting application in, he's putting effort in. I'm pretty sure Rangnick wanted him to be a bit more forward, you know, so if we do get the counter-attack, your speed, which he showed in abundance every now and then in that game, you know, just to affect the game going forward, all of that. He was everywhere. He was active. Players lack initiative, and they are very, very baby. That's why your Mourinho's and Keanes are hated. Actually, I'm not putting Keane in the same circle as Mourinho, but you know what I'm saying. They're hated for what they say, but it's the truth. I shouldn't have to tell you to do this, this, and this. This should be things I expect.
That should come from within, bro. Like
hard work.
I'm saying, like with Modric.
Hard work. That's
exactly. Like he didn't want it bad enough, Coach. This is why I've always defended Ronaldo, because I know, right, with all the murmurs that are going on in the dressing room, X, Y, and Z's moaning about training. Ronaldo's not one of them guys moaning. I tell you that for free. Like he's not the guy.
just train.
This is Usman. This is what separates the very, very good players or good players to the elite. That's the difference. The players that stay there and stay with the work rate are the ones that are the elite players. You still hear it about Ronaldo that he's the first one in and he's the last one out. Even at 37, he's still that guy that people try and follow. And it just proves that the rest are just not up to it. And Rashford, again, it's debatable. You don't know until you hear it, maybe. But it seems like there's so much going on that we don't know what's right. It's a comedy show. Let's be fair, right? But there's obviously some truth in it because Ilanga's getting ahead of him. So it tells you everything that he's probably not giving it as much in training as he was a few years ago. I think the problem with United at the moment is the players feel that once you get into that squad, I know we'll probably talk about Luke Shaw. Once you get into that squad and in that lineup, you don't then need to put in as much of a shift because you're almost certain to be in and around the squad regardless. And I feel like that mentality has come into United for the last several years or more with that, because under a certain Alex Ferguson that would have never happened, and you would have been begging in every single training session just to get a minute on the field, let alone 90 minutes. But now it just feels like a lot of the players have got it too easy, including Rashford, that there simply isn't that authority, I'd say, there for the players to feel challenged, and maybe a lot of that is also down to management because the players know that Ralf Rangnick isn't going to be there after the season. He's going to be in the board. So they're probably thinking that, why should I be too bothered anyways? Because I don't really need to press him. I need to press the manager afterwards.
Yeah,
so
basically.
It's a tough one.
I remember Samir Nasri. I don't like him referencing Arsenal. Maybe I like to look at their downfall.
Look at the KL too much.
Samir Nasri, when he left Arsenal to go Man City, obviously he got berated for it. Money bags, this, that, and the other. I came out and said, listen, no matter how poorly I played, I knew I was going to start the next game. So what was the point of me working hard? That alone.
Facts.
And when he said that back then, and I don't know if you guys have definitely probably noticed it, that bit by bit, the mentality of players has been like that, bit by bit. When they know they're a guaranteed starter.
Bruno Fernandes, bro.
Literally, unless you're a proven winner and you show it in that week in and week out, the other guys just cruise. They just cruise on by. They don't have to do much. It's the reason why a Neymar, as talented as he is and a brilliant footballer, Neymar can be injured for 3 months and not train. Or I say injured for about 3 months and not do much. And then immediately, since he's fit, you're in the team. No worries.
Kojo, here's the thing, Kojo. This is what I'm saying. This is why a lot of the United fans that are saying Ronaldo is the problem is a complete lie, in my opinion, because this is a guy that's been there, done everything that's achievable as a player, individually and collectively as a team. The reason why a lot of the players no longer want to be on his side or don't want to listen to him, blah, blah, is because they can't reach that level. Not in terms of talent, but in terms of work rate. They don't want to
in terms of talent as well.
They don't want to do the work rate. They don't want to go to the extremes that a player of his work ethic would go towards. It's simple. That's why you can hear them crying all the time that Ronaldo's making us do this, Ronaldo's making us do that. I don't want to do this. Because they just, truthfully, before Ronaldo was at United, the players had an easy run. Clearly, they had an easier ride under Ollie because Ollie was everyone's mate. Now you've actually got a player that's challenging the work ethic and trying to push them and say, you came second last season. This season, I want you to win a trophy, and I'm here to make sure we help make this happen. Players don't want to work that extra 5-10% that Ronaldo will be doing. And now it's created arguments, and that's what's happened after the first few games that Ronaldo came into the team. But then all of a sudden, it's Ronaldo's fault. I'm not saying it's Ronaldo's fault. I am saying it's Ronaldo's fault for getting off the touchline when he's being asked to come off, and when he's asked to drop in games where he's supposed to be on the bench, he's not willing to do it because it's management of a 37-year-old at the end of the day. And his attitude at times, but what you can't discredit him for is the fact that the players are saying that he's bullying because they're telling him that he's telling them to work harder. I mean, that is a complete and utter lie. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you had someone in even university that knows a bit more than you, or in school that knows more than you, educational purposes, you'd want to listen to him or her, not say, oh well, no, it's too hard for me. You're better than me, obviously, so I'm not going to try and listen. It doesn't work like that. Surely it doesn't work like that. It's like asking your school teacher, nah, you know way too much. Forget this. I ain't coming to class.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
it doesn't work like that.
It is pathetic. Like if you put it like that, it just literally just
It's
shows
baffling.
how
It's
pathetic it is.
baffling.
And that's the thing. Like I'm not going to sit here and say Ronaldo hasn't been a problem in some aspects, because there are definitely some aspects that he
100%.
he makes his worst, absolutely. But to label him as the problem is an absolute cop out for me.
Right.
And I think you put it perfectly. But I always reference that Michael Jordan, and lately I've been watching a lot of Kobe's that press conferences. So obviously, may he rest in peace, of course. And you just notice the difference between world class / superstars to the everyday guy. I'm not saying Rashford's an everyday guy. I think Rashford's actually got a lot of talent. I know a lot of people are discrediting him at the moment, but he has got a talent if you had the right application to actually go quite far. But the point I'm making is, if you listen to Kobe or if you listen to Michael Jordan, their teammates fucking hated them. Excuse my language. Their teammates hated them. And one guy asked Kobe, I've forgotten his name, but one of his teammates literally asked Kobe in like an interview, like a face-to-face thing, like in training, goes, "Why are you such an arsehole to us?" And he turned around and said, "Look, at the end of the day, why would I pass the ball to X, Y, and Z? Because that guy isn't even putting in 20% of my effort. I'm here busting my ass to put in extra shifts, and these guys aren't even doing the bare minimum. Why would I trust him with the ball? Why would I trust him in moments of clutch?" That's why I do it myself. And that's what it comes down to. And I'm not saying Ronaldo's perfect. Ronaldo's definitely made mistakes at Manchester United, but he's 37. He's played every single game, 90 minutes, a week in, week out, because other people like Rashford have gone into their shells. Martial's run away. Cavani's never fit. Other guy's an absolute twat. Obviously, we've not mentioned his name, but we know who I'm talking about. So he's basically been forced to play so many games. And the amount of games he's played, even a fit 25-year-old would be struggling with those minutes, and they would actually get fatigue. A 37-year-old, regardless of his shape, he's going to have fatigue. And the fact of the matter is, his mentality is so high above everybody else's, they literally can't keep up, and they don't want it. It's as simple as that. And that's why I come back to what I said. Rashford, for me, I love you, but same with Martial, same with Lingard, same with Pogba, same with Bruno. No agendas. I know
there's too many players, Usman. They're not accountable. There's too many players. My example here is, obviously we've not done it in a while, but Usman, you know this. When me and you used to play 5-a-side football or 6-a-side football, the amount of times where I was on the left and I was running to get the ball, and then if I missed a shot, I'd complain, but then I wouldn't track back. And all I'd hear from your voice would be, "Kish, get the F in back." And if I didn't, you used to cane me. You used to literally scream at me because I wasn't coming back. And it wasn't because I couldn't come back. I just didn't have the style. I was dying. But like, you used to get proper mad. And you were right. It's justified. Even in amateur level, basic level football, you were telling me to do the bare minimum. So elite level footballers being reactive and not proactive towards chasing and just trying to mark your man and trying to go after the ball is criminal. It is absolutely criminal. You've seen the clips against Manchester City where every single one of the players is accountable. Not a single player is trying to chase the ball. Where's that Jesse Lingard from last season for West Ham, who literally chased and hounded defenders for every single opportunity of the ball? Where's that Jesse Lingard? I understand. I understand he's had situations. I understand he didn't get let go in January. I understand his contract ends. But at the end of the day, you are a youth academy product. You've been at Manchester United since you were 7. Have some respect. Where's the rest of the players? Marcus Rashford, you're a youth academy product. Have some respect and dignity for the club that gave you everything, because if it wasn't for that club, you would have absolutely nothing, and you'd probably be working behind the flipping tills at Tesco's. So have some respect, okay? Have some goddamn respect, okay? You can feed the kids. You can do whatever you want. Buy houses for your investments. But the bare minimum that you need to do is track back to get a ball that you yourself have lost because you've tried some techers, okay? So don't disrespect your club. Don't disrespect your employer that's paying your goddamn wages. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, you're spitting absolute facts. Just want to say shout out to Viking Red. Obviously, put in the comments as well. For legends watching, thank you for the people that are tuning in. Inshallah, more to come. Listen, shout out to you, Viking Red. Hopefully, Junior's doing well. Obviously, we haven't uploaded in a while, so I was expecting to be a bit of a drop on future. But listen, I'm just enjoying and just speaking to my boys on Part Football. It's been a while. But Kojo's coming with a smoke, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. He's spitting nothing but facts as well.
He got a Stone Cold promo.
Listen, it's been nothing about facts. But listen, we're going to quickly just go on to the Scott McTominay interview, Kojo. You did mention it earlier, and then we're going to talk Tottenham Hotspur, and obviously we'll get into the game, because unlike Man United, one person that is showing application is Kulusevski, so we'll get to him very shortly, because he's absolutely killing it at the moment. But Kojo, can we just quickly talk about the Scott McTominay interview? I just want to get your thoughts. You did mention it earlier, but what did you make of it? Like, the guy came out and literally blasted. I'm assuming he's referring to Bruno. Obviously, we don't know.
It's gone again.
Carry on.
Can't lie. I'll just answer the question. I can't lie. He should be blasting himself as part of that too. Because that performance against City was good.
Just before you go, I just want to say happy birthday to Junior.
Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday. God bless. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on, Kojo. Sorry.
He should be blasting himself. Look, him and so many other players do this. They lose a game and then they suddenly find the tactical nous in their head to say, we should have done this, we should have pressed here, we should have done that. And I'm like, well, he mentioned it very briefly as well in his interview about how him and Fred were bypassed. And I'm like, well, why don't you address that more? Why were you bypassed? What were you doing wrong that made it so easy for the City attacking midfielders to get into those spaces and create chances time and time again? I appreciate that he is honest enough about his team to say that we played poorly and certain things weren't needed. I appreciate that. I respect that. I just would hope that you would apply the same level of application in your game as much as you can do the talking as well. What was it? Talk the talk and walk the walk. You're not walking the walk. You have not walked the walk for a long time. So that interview, it actually kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It pissed me off. I'm sitting there listening to it, and bear in mind, I'm not the kind of person that actually watches the analysis after the game.
Yeah, I do.
When I'm at work, I'll put on a YouTube clip of what they were talking about, and I can listen to it there. I don't want to sit after the game and watch that. But for some reason, I just sat there and I'm watching and I'm just listening to what he's saying. I'm just like, well, this is all well and good, but where were you? Was your passing good? No. Was your positioning good? No. Was your work rate good? No. Roy Keane, who has loved you for a lot of the season because you do the work rate, he for the fourth goal, he was literally saying, look at McTominay, look at McTominay, look at McTominay. Repetitive. Because he was looking at him, it's like, he's not even tracking his man. There's no awareness of what's going on around him. He sprints for 2 seconds and then jogs, gets into an area and just says, all right, I'm just going to stand there and see what happens. Fred did the same thing. Telles, Maguire, Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka making us concede 3 goals. Like, you're not performing. Look at yourself first before you criticize everybody else. Bruno, Hollywood balls, you got on that. Yeah, play it simple sometimes. He's also contributed a lot more than you have. So you at least have some credit in the bank. You don't have credit in the bank. You don't have credit in the bank. So for you to come and talk like that, bring all the tactical analysis as if you're Gary Neville back in 2015 when he was doing it well before he started doing this bias bullshit, and then go and perform like that on the pitch. I don't want to hear it, man. Shut up. Real talk, just shut up.
Honest to God, Kojo, you're absolutely spot on, firstly. But secondly, yeah, you know what cracked me up? Bro, our fans are so embarrassing. The amount of fans I've seen saying, give him the armband, give him the armband. Scott McTominay, these man, they're just like any bit of kissing of the badge, and any bit of one of these ones, and a bit of talking, they're all over it. Listen, let me talk to you, Scott McTominay, big man. You're probably not gonna watch this, but the odd chance you do watch this, what the fuck did you do in that game? Please. You can go into all these details about Bruno, maybe Pogba. I don't think he was referring to Pogba. I feel like it was Bruno. But let's just say it's Pogba. Let's say it's Malanga, whoever it may be. Man's taking digs at them. What are they meant to do if you can't even get the ball to them? They get it once in a blue moon. Granted, no pun intended, obviously, but they get it once. And they're surrounded by 3 players. They can't pass it to you because if the ball goes to you, you'll get pressed and you lose it. They can't pass it to Fred because they'll get pressed and then lose it. Absolutely no accountability. And what, Scott McTominay? I absolutely applaud you because you know what? You finesse half the fan base into thinking you're actually an unbelievably good player. You actually finessed the fan base into thinking you had a good game. Bro, if that's me doing that press conference, right? I'm like, you know what? It wasn't a great team performance. I didn't have a good game. The guys up front weren't holding the balls. They didn't benefit us. But from my perspective, I need to step up myself. This guy's talking like he's prime Roy Keane, prime Patrick Vieira, prime Yaya Toure, like doing a madness in midfield. And the man's up top and let him down. You're the man letting us down. You and Fred were getting run ragged. Yes, Bruno could have done better in the second half. Yes, Pogba could have done better in the second half. Yes, Alanga could have done better. But where were you, big man? Man had flipping less passes than De Gea. He's the bloody midfielder. He's meant to be the guy who gets the ball and dictates play. That's his job. Alongside making tackles. I saw a stat that him and Fred didn't even make a tackle for fucking about 25 to 30 minutes in the second half. Probably longer. Like, they must not have been. I don't recall him even doing anything apart from his best impression of Messi going invisible man. So, like, the guy did nothing in the second half, and he's giving one of these ones to use his middle finger and shit. Like, shut up, bro. Look in the mirror. And this is the problem at Man United. Ronaldo's not the problem. The problem is the shit mentality and there's no accountability from these players. Scott probably went home and thought, not my fault we lost. Bruno's doing flicks up top is his fault. Literally just let Bruno... KDB run into the box about 4 times for the first 2 goals. Like, KDB's got the full pitch to run into. Where are you, big man?
Stupid, man. Sorry, Osman, but it was just dawned on me. When you're just talking, it just hit me. I was like, right, I should have thought this a long time ago. I'm probably just doing some Captain Obvious stuff here, but the fans are actually annoying as hell.
The fans are nutters.
Like,
they generally believe that he had a good game because he's had a good speech after the game.
Give
him the armband, bro. He shouldn't even be in the fucking team. Let alone if you already got a clown in that team who's got the armband, they're trying to give it to another man like this fan base.
And Kish, if you have the same issue with Spurs fans, please elaborate further don't worry,
they've got a lot to do with Spurs fans.
I think the issue that seems to reoccur at the moment with United is none of the players actually take ownership for their own issues. For example, Harry Maguire's been Kane this season, but rightfully because he's had poor performances. So what does he do? Plays for England, scores against the team that's ranked 197,000 in the world, and then does the ear chant. It's like, well, hang on a minute. So you're a defender and you've scored against the 200th ranked team in the world, but
don't disrespect Albania.
How does that you scoring? I don't understand how that stops the fans from saying, okay, fair enough. Scott McTominay has an interview where he slates the rest of the players, but then takes no ownership of his own accountability. Again, there's so many things wrong with that. Firstly, that, but then secondly as well, you've had so many issues with back chat about the club in the last months. So why make it worse and give it even more discredibility? Like, surely that's the last thing that United need, because that then gets people like us talking, which is great for the channel. But in general, do you really want that within your camp, that you've got even more negativity towards your players and towards your club? It just, for me, it's disgraceful. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the captaincy, this is modern day social media. And I'll be honest with you, I know we're going off topic. Ronaldo and Messi, I read your tweets about it this week. Modern day Twitter and modern day social media. One day you are the greatest of all time and you're the best player since sliced bread, and the next week you're a fraud. That's how social media works. And that's the exact same thing with the McTominay game. I would have loved to know before he made that interview after the game how many fans would have said how poor he was. I bet you he would have been a handful. As soon as he comes out with the kiss on the badge, what it means, this, that, and the other, give him the captaincy band. That literally, that is social media in a nutshell these days, where it's a game-by-game basis, and you don't base it on overall credibility. McTominay is a good squad player to have, and that is literally, at best, a good squad player. He is not the player that will take United forward to their former glories. We all know that. So calm the F down, my guy. You are not captaincy level. You are not the level of Manchester United. You are just a squad player that should be lacing the Mandem shoes, okay? That's what you should be doing in your spare time. You are not in that credibility to even have an opportunity to say these sort of words. Yeah, a bench warmer at best. So coming out with these words that are discrediting the current meltdown at United as it is, and then increasing the fire that's already in the pipeline, for me, is just beyond stupidity. Take ownership. Take ownership of your frailties. Why not do that? Why not say that I don't want to talk about the squad. I want to talk about myself. My individual performance was quite frankly not good enough today. And I need to work on that. Where was him saying that and instead going on about X, Y, Z? Why? Why do that?
Because fans allow it. Bro, this is what I'm saying. Fans allow it. So, all right. So, like, what I was gonna say is the lack of accountability from fans also. So you go back to the days where we just watched football, and if a young guy came through, if a guy had a bad patch of form, we had a bit of patience about it. We say, all right, drop him, let him breathe. So that's why I referenced Rashford earlier with all the stuff that I was putting away from the comments from. I know we're addressing the comments, but for me, it's like I grew up in an age of football where if a young player, or even if you're a player that's come from the youth system, or whether you're bored, whatever the scenario is, if you're a player that's been genuinely good for the club and you hit your first bit of really poor form, I'm not going to come for your neck and just get onto you. I'm not going to say that he must immediately be sold. It took me 3 years before I said to him, I said, Marshall, I'm done with him now. It took me 3 years because I needed time to see if he was going to become the guy that I hoped in my mind anyway, that I hoped he was going to be. Not everyone else's. Judging off what I think he was going to be. I didn't think he was going to be a Ballon d'Or winner, but I thought he was going to be one of the top players in the world. But he's starting to be a good footballer, and there's nothing wrong with that. If he's not built for Man United anymore, we move. But there's no need to kill him like that. Rashford is the same thing. Rashford's first bad form this season, last year, he's not playing well, but he's got 20 goals a sit and 10 assists, and he's doing this and doing that. That's what he does. And then now he's in bad form, we suddenly get him out of the club. I'm like, I understand the frustration because Man United fans want to win now, but we're not that Man United anymore. We have not been that Man United since 2013, point blank period, if we're being honest. So if you're expecting immediate success, if you're expecting that someone gets the armband and immediately changes, it doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. That's not how football operates. Not everyone can be Chelsea. Chelsea can do that. Chelsea can bring in a new man and do that because Abramovich has found a system that works for him. But Man United had the same man for 26 years. And then when he left, it was suddenly, oh shit, what do we do now? And you lost everything, and your identity and everything. But not only did the club lose their identity, the fans lost their identity as well. Because they lost that patience, they lost that understanding, and they think that their club is still where it is right now. Where it was back then, sorry. So, Usman, imagine how the fans would have been, if if Twitter was around now. Not now, back then, when Arsenal went unbeaten and Chelsea won the league 2 years in a row. Imagine Man United fans then.
I know. It would have been like, dude, get Fergie sacked, get Fergie
sacked. Who's Ronaldo? But he keeps diving. Get him out. He's too weak.
Yeah, bro. It literally would have been absolutely.
Why are you saying Van der Sar? He's 37 years old.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
Yeah, bro. That's why I'm trying my best to stay off, obviously social, but it's different.
Imagine the criticism that Park Ji-sung would get. They'd be like, people are saying it.
There's people that want to lang souls, like generally. He's not. The amount of people have said he's not got enough quality.
It's disgraceful,
bro. I'm not.
Remember when Chong and Gomez were getting so much high ratings for what they were doing for the under 23s and
and as soon as I had one bad game, Chong was like, get rid of Chong.
Chong had 10 minutes off the bench, and he's not going to make him get him out.
Yeah. Oh my god, the amount
of people what time does he have?
Yes, it's an absolute shambles. I'm just going to quickly get this comment in here. James Garner needs more minutes in midfield United. For me personally, I think he's had a very good loan spell. I believe it's on Nottingham, isn't it? A very good loan spell, but I want to see him have another loan spell in a Premier League team. I did actually read just before coming on here that Southampton are potentially interested in him. So for me personally, I want to see him have one more loan season in a Premier League team. Hopefully, see how he gets up.
Hopefully, if Nottingham Forest go up, that'd be a good.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, best case scenario is Nottingham get promoted. But yeah, we'll have to wait and say. Viking said, well said, Kojo. Right, let's move on to Tottenham because we've literally spent the entire time talking about Man United, which isn't a shock, but it is what it is. So let's first and foremost, let's start with Harry Kane in it because it's an obvious place to start with. There's been a lot spoken about Harry Kane in the last couple of weeks. Is he world class, etc. But I mean, that's a debate. That's a show in itself. But Kish, chat to me about Harry Kane at the moment, because that second goal that he scored was absolutely outrageous on the volley.
Yeah.
That, as I literally said, Van Persie, yes, that's what it was.
Do you know what it is about Harry Kane? I don't understand this, right? I'm on quite a few group chats, and on one of them, they just don't rate Harry Kane because he doesn't score in the major games, apparently, etc. We've all heard everything, but I don't understand. I've never known in my lifetime a player that's created this much fan talk and like negativity towards him because it's Harry Kane. I don't know if it's because him as a person, he's not Brazilian and he doesn't have techers. I actually don't know what it is about Harry Kane that divides such opinion. You've got a player here.
Harry Kane's like Mom,
Yeah, exactly. He is. You've got a British player here that is well on his way towards becoming England's top scorer. And he scored in major competitions as well, something that Wayne Rooney didn't do. Wayne Rooney only had one World Cup goal to his name. You've got a player that, if he stays fit and healthy, stays in the Premier League, will probably be the Premier League's highest goal scorer. But if he stays at Tottenham, may never win a trophy. That's no fault of his own. He's tried to get out and he's tried to win trophies at Tottenham. But what people don't realise is this sport is a team sport. It's not like tennis. It's not like boxing. You can do your job as a player, but you need the other 10 players to provide the same service and the same quality. And if they don't, unfortunately, the best players individually don't get the best awards for teams, as a collective opinion. So I don't understand it. I really don't get it. But him as a player, look, for me, I'm not saying he's the best striker in the world, but I'd definitely say he's top 3 in terms of an actual out-and-out striker.
Do you agree with Michael Richards saying that
Michael Richards? Listen, I love Michael Richards, yeah. He's an
do you agree, though, only now Benzema's caught up to Harry Kane?
I mean, that's a lie. I always said in my head that my top 3 strikers, and I know people are going to go about Haaland at the moment, but I'm still going to say my top 3 strikers have always been Benzema, Lewandowski and Kane. That's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion on how I see it. People obviously might say that Kane is away from Haaland. You can say that.
It is not.
But at this moment in time, I think Kane's passing ability for me is as good as De Bruyne's. I'm not even going to lie. Kane's passing ability is as good as his goal scoring ability, and that's where I see him later down in his career being more of a number 10. But at this moment in time, you can't deny his qualities. Yes, I know Kojo said it early in the season that he's only got 1 Premier League goal, and he did only have 1 Premier League goal up until I think it was January, which, let's be fair, was poor. Most of his goals were in the Conference League and England against ranked teams 80 to 100 in the world. I get it. But now he's on 10 Premier League goals. He probably will score another 9-10 goals in the next 12, 13 fixtures because that's what Harry Kane does when he gets on a roll. And then what are people going to say? Oh, then he wanted to move. He had a temper issues. He's a little dick. This, that, and the other. You can't keep coming out with excuses. I actually had a person yesterday saying to me he doesn't like Harry Kane because he just scores tap-ins. It's like, come on, man! Like, he's a striker.
What?
It's an Arsenal fan. It's an Arsenal fan.
Wait.
Because he's only ever scored 1 worldie against Arsenal, which was that goal on the left hand when he had the.
No. Wait, no. That's lies. I'm sorry.
This is what I'm saying, man. Like, honestly,
the worldie is all about the header.
Apparently, Aubameyang's first 2 seasons at Arsenal, he had Kane on toast as well in terms of individual quality. Honestly, man, this is what I mean. Like, sometimes now, I just archive these chats, because I don't care, man. It used to get to me, and now I'm just like, do you know what? You man don't know ball. You don't know ball clearly because if football for you is just that, then I don't want to be a part of it. But look, I agree with Red's comment. He is like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. But for me personally, he is one of the best strikers in world football, and he has been for the best part of 5 years, in my personal opinion. And no one can say anything to change my mind. Yes, he's not turned up in the 2 finals that we've reached. The semi-finals.
that was classic.
Yeah. Right, but what I would say about those finals again is who else turned up? Who turned up? He has to Harry Kane has to take ownership for the games that we didn't produce and perform in. But every single other player on the pitch has to take ownership as well. It's not just a one person band, okay? But yeah, that's my take.
I don't think he's that good. I think he's worth that 50 million, and you should sell him to Man United. Listen, look, first things first, right? Hopefully he doesn't score tomorrow. Let's just get that out there. You were talking about him going on a mad run. I'm worried about Kane Culture for tomorrow. Kojo disconnected, not great because I'm probably going to disconnect this one. Anyways, as he's here. I'm worried about Kane tomorrow. Massively worried because everything that is Harry Kane in terms of his game is what's going to kill us. I mean, you saw Kevin De Bruyne absolutely destroy us without going into third gear, fourth gear, wherever it was. Kane's just dropping into the pocket, collecting the ball, playing the ball in behind Heung-min Son, Kulusevski that we're going to talk about very shortly. He looks like an absolute steal as it currently stands. Kojo, what are your thoughts on Kane for tomorrow's game, man?
Oh, it's going to be a problem, man. Look,
I might have to captain him on FPL, you know. I'm just thinking about it now. I've got Trent as captain, but I might change after this podcast.
I'm not going to lie to you. Kane's still got the armband right for me right now, but I'm still considering the changes. But look, Kish, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna go. It's gonna connect to what you've asked me, but Kish, the reason why people don't like Kane is because one, he's not fast, and two, he doesn't dribble like Eden Hazard or something, right? But his overall qualities are ridiculously high. You know, you talk about the passing, his ability to play, make. The City game, that first time pass to Son that put him in straight away before he passes to Kulusevski, quality. The goals that he scored, quality. The guy is like.
Do you think he's in your top three though, Kojo? Because Kish did say, yeah. Because Kish, I don't know if that was on form or if that was in general, Kish.
Yeah, no. In general, I put Lewandowski first, Benzema, and then Kane.
If you're talking about form of the season, Lewandowski, Benzema, and Vlahovic will be your top three strikers because they've been on form from the beginning. But if you're talking about overall quality, Kane hasn't fallen off a cliff. Kane had a really, really bad run of form also this season, and now he's found himself and he's performing again. He wasn't like that last season. Wasn't he so close to getting 20 goals, 20 assists last season? That he was like this close to it. He's not suddenly become David Bellion. He's still Harry Kane. So when it comes to the Man United game now, the reason why I worry about him is because, like I was saying about the Man City game earlier, McTominay and Fred leave a lot of gaps or space in that midfield for them to be exposed. But it's not only them. It can also be Matic and Pogba. It can be McTominay and Pogba, Fred and Matic, Fred and Pogba. There's no cohesion in our midfield 2 or 3 these days. So for Kane, if he slots into those holes, Wan-Bissaka's positioning and tracking of runners is just terrible. That's Son on one side. Luke Shaw and Tellers are literally the same defensively. That's Kulusevski on the other side. Varane is still out with COVID, so that's just a no-go.
So Varane's back.
He's back? Oh, if he's back, then fantastic.
I'm pretty sure he's back. I'm pretty confident he's back.
Well, if he's back, then
he's been in training anyway, so. Disconnected. Have I disconnected? Kojo disconnected.
No, Kojo disconnected.
Yeah, I think it's me that's then.
I was like, I'm there like,
yeah, I think that's me.
No, Varane has been in training. I just remembered I've been posting his training pics. So
yeah, I was saying that's good then because we need someone that knows what the hell he's doing at the back. But Kane is a worry regardless because Kane can score from range. Kane is clinical. He needs the ball just in front of him in the box, and he can hit in either angle.
This comment is just cracking me up.
Maguire
is playing sadly back here, so
and also he can find himself. And look, I know people probably want to hear it right now because they'll be like, "No, you're moving stupid, you're saying stuff." But Conte is now starting to find a system that works with Sessegnon and Doherty on the wing.
Sessegnon's injured though. Kojo.
Well, he got Reguilon. I know it's Everton, but he came off the bench and immediately impacted the game.
Yeah. Is Doherty going to start, Kish? Because I'm thinking about FPL still.
It'll be Doherty. It'll be Doherty.
I'm gonna buy Doherty, Kish. You know I've always liked him anyways, and
and this is what I was saying. I was saying to my cousin because he lives with me. I was saying that if you think he can't get something out of Doherty, give it time because he got a lot.
Doherty was amazing at Wolves. In a fourth, in a wing back.
Yeah,
he was unbelievable. That's what they signed him. So
Conte,
I'm not surprised.
Conte got a lot out of Matteo Darmian.
Yeah, true. Moses
And
as
help,
well, Alonso.
yeah, Inter. So just a matter of time. And now, yes, his product is still a bit bummy, but he's getting in the right positions and he's causing a bit of trouble with the Hurty. So if him and Regulon can get something going again, that's another threat. I should be worrying more about our threats, but quite frankly, we have no threats. We don't have to play football. So yeah, Kane is one hell of an issue, man. I'm kind of scared. I can't lie. I think it was again.
Do you know what it is for me on this game? I'm really confident that we'll win, because against teams like United, we love dropping back and we love giving possession to the opposition. It's the teams when we play the likes of Burnley, Wolves, Southampton, etc., where I do worry, because obviously we will get more of the ball, and when we do have time on the ball, we do struggle. We're quite counter-attacking in terms of the way we play. We like to make sure that the opposition team has the ball, and then once they get to the forward lines, we then take possession, and then with our forward lines, with the three that we have, we can majorly hurt any side in world football. Forget just the Premier League. So these are the sort of games where, to be honest, I think with Bentancur in midfield, which he'll probably play with Højbjerg with that defensive attribute, and then with Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, I think you're in trouble. I'm not going to lie to you. I genuinely think that United are in trouble here in terms of the game. Could be wrong, because United do randomly turn up on these sort of games. Every now and again, they just come out with results, and Ronaldo could get a brace, and it could be curtains for us. But based on current standings and what we've seen in the last few games, I can see Tottenham turning United over here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be surprised if we beat you. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like everything points to Spurs dominating us, especially with how poor our defense is, in particular with how badly Man City ripped as a new one. Son in behind Kulusevski, as you just mentioned there, both of which are going to cause the problem. Kulusevski actually looks like a very high IQ player.
That's another thing as well on Kulusevski. I remember his second game that he came on. I was on social media, and again, Kulusevski's a flop. Kulusevski's a waste of time. I was on the Tottenham space. A couple of Tottenham fans say that Bentancur is fantastic, and yeah, because Bentancur's 2 cameo appearances were good and Kulusevski's were non-existent. And I always said, give players a chance, because if this was back in the day when we had Gareth Bale at left back who was going to get loaned to Birmingham, and it wasn't until Kojo got injured that his loan was rescinded to Birmingham, and he stayed at Tottenham. And look what happened there. God forbid what would have happened if that was in today's day, because he probably would be in Birmingham. He probably would have been in Birmingham. But that's what I mean. Give players a chance, and let's give them a proper whip and see what happens. And look at him now. Kulusevski and Bentancur are literally starting 11 players for us now. And Kulusevski, oh my God, he does run in slow-mo, but God, when he gets that ball, he can do bits.
He drifts into these pockets like
unbelievable.
Behind the midfield and in front of the back line. Like he's just running behind here and
that
there.
Left foot is deadly, by the way.
Yeah, it's just the way his IQ, like his ability to find space within tight areas, and I think that's what's going to hurt. Is alongside it, Harry Kane as well. Them two in between the lines is just going to kill us. I mean,
Bentancur as well. He can find a pass, Bentancur and Højbjerg.
Yeah, but we got McFred done. I put some respect.
Yeah, you got McFred.
Yeah, but listen, Kojo, how do you think the game's going to pan out? Then we'll go through our lineups. Obviously, if you are still tuning in, be sure to slap a like. Obviously, get your comments in, your thoughts about the game. Shout out to Viking Red, who's obviously been commenting quite a lot. We appreciate you. Hopefully, Junior's enjoying the show as well. Kojo, how do you reckon the game's going? Obviously, Kish is very confident, which makes sense. What do you reckon?
I think it's going to play out to be a draw, because I think we have 2 very unconvincing teams. I think the issue is with Spurs in big games, to be fair, not all big games, but some of the big games, they tend to get a good result. The City game shocked a lot of people, and I think they can come to Old Trafford and cause a lot of damage. But I think at the same time, Man United have right now they're in a weird situation where when they play at home, they just don't know how to convert chances anymore. It's not about being unable to create chances. They create chances, they don't know how to finish it. So I think you could be in for a score draw. If you're asking me who's going to pip the win, I am probably leaning more towards Tottenham. But I'm going for a draw on this one.
All right, fair enough. I didn't ask you your score prediction, but thank you for that. Right, let's go through our team now. There's no shock here what Kojo is going to predict. But we'll get to the important score prediction. So, Kish, run us through the Tottenham. I think you kind of done it already, but
yeah, we're gonna
run us through your predicted lineup. What do you reckon?
3-5-2. Starting with the obvious, Lloris in goal.
He's a bit shit, so we've got a chance there.
A back three of Ben Davis, Dyer, and Romero. Romero, by the way, fantastic from what I've seen so far. A lot of quality.
Didn't Romero go off injured? Oh no, he went off rested.
No, he's fine. Thankfully, he's fine. Yeah.
Damn.
Reguilon on the left. Unfortunately, this happens with Sessegnon quite a bit. He picks up a bit of form and then gets injuries. He's a young player. Hopefully, he can get that out of his game. But Reguilon on the left and on the right, Doherty, who's been performing well. Centre midfield, Bentancur and Højbjerg. With the front three of Kulusevski, Harry Kane, and Heung-min Son.
Yeah, Son scares the shit out of me, I'm not going to lie. But, Kojo, what do you reckon from a Man United perspective? What's your predicted lineup for this? So it's a bit more trickier for us. I feel like it's a bit straightforward with Tottenham what you'd get. But with those, we haven't got a clue, really.
Yeah, I think De Gea's definitely starting. With Varane back now, be Varane and Maguire. I think Shaw is still out, so I'll go Tellez. I think Dallo might return to the starting lineup actually for this game. Midfield, McTominay's out as well.
McTominay out?
Yeah, Rangnick said today. He's out.
Oh, I haven't listened to that. All I know is Ronaldo's came back. I didn't give a shit about McTominay.
So no interviews then after the game. No interviews after the game then.
None of these ones after the game.
It's a shame that.
So I think you're gonna have Fred, Pogba, and Bruno.
Okay.
And then I think you're gonna have Sancho, Elanga, and Ronaldo.
I mean, that sounds right to me. The only thing I would potentially change is getting Matic in there somehow, because I think he's been a bit of a breath of fresh air lately. But you have got the Atletico game on the Tuesday, I believe. So potentially need to save him for that as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, for me personally, obviously just looking at both the lineups, every game's won in midfield, we know that. But Bentancur and Højbjerg, them two compared to our midfield, our midfield, are they going to be up for it? Are they going to be up for the battle? I mean, you know what you're going to get with Højbjerg. You know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to put up a fight. Bentancur as well, he's looked like he's coming and he's settling very quickly. Pogba and Fred, in a comparison, I haven't got a clue which Pogba and Fred are going to turn up. Fred, on his day, has got the ability to be tenacious in the tackle. Pogba, I haven't got a clue. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Pogba, as we'll know, but in these big games, it does have a bit of a question mark. Although against Tottenham, notoriously, he's actually had a good game every time. Most of the time he's played. The one when he bodied Dembele, got an assist, and also the other one when he played it to Rashford from deep, we won 1-0. And another time, on another occasion, he played Mkhitaryan through as well. So against Tottenham, he's actually done quite well in the Man United shirt so far. So hopefully he can carry that individual form. But in general, it's going to be interesting to see how Ronaldo fares because he's just come back from injury. Last time we played Spurs, Ronaldo was influential in the victory with the assist and that unbelievable volley that he scored from an acute angle. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But listen, boys, enough of the waffling. I want to get everyone's score predictions. So, Kish, we'll start. In fact, no, we'll let you go last, or let you go second. So, Kojo, we'll start with you. What do you reckon? What's the score? We know it's a draw, but what's the score prediction?
I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. It is at Old Trafford, isn't it?
Indeed.
Okay, Kish, what's your score prediction? What do you reckon?
I'm going to go for 2-1 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham. Thank you, Viking Red. He's gone for a 2-2. Bro, play Mata against Atletico. I mean, you know what? Mata is probably the most disrespected footballer at our club. The way we've ruined that guy's career doesn't even get spoken about. Like, we literally signed the best number 10 in the league and never played him. Like, it literally don't even make sense. Like, it's just absolutely shocking. I mean, Mata, if he had the legs, I'd definitely take him over Bruno in a heartbeat, boys. Whereas, so for me personally, so we got a draw, Kish win. I mean, it's only right that I go from Man United, then it took all places. I'm gonna say, in fact, I can't really go for United, but fuck it. 2-1 Manchester United. I don't really believe it, to be honest. If I was being honest, I'd probably say I'd probably say 2-2 draw. Shahid's saying Kulusevski looking like a great signing for Spurs so far. And I've disconnected. Fantastic news.
Oh, wait. He said that and then went off.
That was just like a perfect ensemble.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh my god, so annoying. Listen, I don't know what's wrong with my stream here. Like, it literally disconnects for 5 seconds, or whatever it is, and it comes back. No, it's definitely the streamer. Anyways, as I was saying, Kulusevski looks a great signing in Shahid. He definitely does, but hopefully he has an absolute stinker tomorrow alongside Harry Kane and Son, because that's the only way we're going to win. I think the only way Manchester United get a result here is if Spurs don't turn up. More than might not be brilliant, because I just don't see us doing anything off the back of that City performance. But anyways, listen, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you. Shout out to you, Viking Red and Shahid, who stayed for the duration of the show. We appreciate all the support. Like I said earlier, I will be back tomorrow with a watch along. I'll try and get a Kish on it as well, actually, now that I think about it, if he's available, but we'll discuss that off air. If not, you still have my beautiful self doing the watch along. As always, make sure you do slap a like, subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned already, Monday night we will be back with the Rather Farm podcast. Hopefully the gang will be back together. There's a lot to discuss, and I'm assuming off the back of this weekend there's going to be even more to discuss. Got a lot of big games. But listen, before we go, as always, Kojo, let the people know where they can find you, my bro.
Yes. Firstly, let's do Usman Talks United Mondays. Rival Fan Podcast. Tune into the thing, you know what I'm saying? We're about all the time. Me,
yes.
Usman, of course, the host, Cahill, Daniel when he can, Dan from West Ham Fan TV, and of course, the king below me, Kish, right there.
Yes.
Myself, Free Midfield Podcast on all the socials and all the audios. That includes your TikToks and Twitches for some reason. And Tuesday, I will be on Don Robbie again for Main Live versus Atletico.
Jeez, big time.
Me and Neeks, so it should be fun.
I know. Listen, you've not had a great look on that show so far, I must say. Honest to God, I know obviously you were there for the Man City game. I feel like the game before you didn't have good luck as well.
It was 1-1 the Atletico first leg.
Okay, so it wasn't too bad, because obviously a bit of happiness. I mean, Robbie was so salty throughout the entirety of that show. So it was good to get a bit of happiness at you at the end. Kish, let the people know where they can find you, my guy.
Yeah, as always, at Keishindu on socials, and Usman Talks United for weekly content. I think the Monday show will be fantastic, especially to see what happens after tomorrow's result.
Yeah, someone's going to be crying.
And always, you'll always get a bit of salty West Ham United commentary from me on Monday night. So be sure to tune into that one as well.
Oh shit! Listen, someone. What I love about that show is one person is always getting blasted. There's hardly ever a week that we all happy, basically. So make sure you tune in. I absolutely love that show. We're coming up to very close to 100 shows actually on that. And I believe this is our 98 podcast, so very close to that as well. But listen, stick around, subscribe to the channel. As I've already said, all of our socials are down below in the description. If you wish to follow us, feel free to do so. I'm sure all the guys will continue to make content over the weekend as well. So make sure you're supporting them on their endeavors. Apart from that, it's been your boy Asfan. Hope you guys have enjoyed it.